Hey there, Janae with Palin Projects here, and in this week's video, we're doing a garden tour. So I'm starting under the arch that Justin built for our wedding, and on the side of it, I have a hops vine growing. I got this hops vine, actually probably 90% of the plants that I have in my garden are from the 75% off clearance rack from our local garden centers. So this is one of them. This is a 3-year-old plant. I do think it probably either A, needs to be moved or have amendments because we have some issues going on, but it's looking pretty good. On either side, I've flanked it with hydrangeas, and they are vanilla strawberry hydrangeas. Again, I think I either need to move these guys or supplement them with some like more compost or something like that, because they definitely aren't as big as the same one that I got that's planted over here, and I'll show you in a bit. But they're not as big, and I think they're lacking in the soil that they're in right now, because this is more of like a sand mixture than a true like compost mixture. So they might be moving in my garden, but those were in the 75% off bin as well. And so is this spirea. The spirea was basically half dead when I got it, and it needs to be moved because I just don't think it fits really well here, and I was rehabbing it in this location. So yeah, it'll be moved to the back row here pretty soon. So behind me, we're going to go through the back row, or what I consider my back row garden. It's just the back row of our property. And we came through and raised it up and then put these lattices up. So on this lattice, I have a Japanese honeysuckle. I think this got nipped by the cold this year, and I don't think it's gotten enough sun because of my cabbages and broccoli. These have gotten just absolutely massive. The cabbage in the back is probably just huge. I'm about to harvest that, and I'll take a picture and share it with you guys as soon as I harvest it. But this is where I planted cabbage and broccoli and Brussels sprouts earlier this year. We didn't get to harvesting the broccoli in time, so it did go to seed. I let it go to seed so I can harvest it and have more broccoli seed for either this fall or next spring. So, because I used all of that broccoli seed this spring. I have 3 geraniums, hardy geraniums, right back here. This daylily is an orange daylily, and then I was given a honey locust tree that's kind of a bush. It's a cutting off of a honey locust tree from a friend. Back here we have a smoke bush. This is another plant that kind of got nipped by our early frost this year, so it's not doing as good as it has. Or as it did last year. It was literally a twig last year and probably got about this size last year. So it should have at least doubled or tripled in size this year. But I'm happy with the growth that it has had this year, just because of the setback that it had during our frost. Right here is Justin and Shelby's strawberry patch. I'll be doing a video about that here pretty soon and showing how we propagate strawberries and get more strawberry plants. In my garden, you'll see a lot of salvia. Hummingbirds absolutely love salvia. I do recommend that you plant actual plants in the ground rather than doing hummingbird feeders. Hummingbird feeders, if they mold up or go bad with the sugar water, it actually can kill a hummingbird. So I definitely recommend planting salvia. That's what most of these blue flowers are as well. This is a honey locust tree that we planted 2.5 years ago. It's doing really good. I've pruned on it twice. This tree should get, I believe, 30 to 50 feet tall and wide. So it should take up this whole back row area and provide us with some nice shade. Moving on, this is a red twig dogwood. This plant is 1.5 years old. It was one of them that I got as a little twig, and it's grown to this year. So I'm very, very pleased with that. Dogwoods are pretty hardy, and you can propagate them as well. So that's what I plan on doing with that big guy. Over here, we do have more broccoli and Brussels sprouts. I did plant my dahlias with you guys in a video back here. You can't really see them. I have some shorter ones over here, and then my cafe au laits are back here. I didn't stake them this year, so they're kind of falling over. And I tried to stake them earlier in the week, and I actually broke a limb off. So I'm just going to kind of let them grow. I do have, back behind this lattice, I have watermelon planted. They've just started to take off because of our heat wave that we've gotten. I haven't seen any fruit set on them yet, but they're growing pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with that. We have a hard time growing melons and watermelons in this area. In this area, I planted a whole bunch of annual flowers, just because I don't have a lot planted here and I didn't want to weed a whole lot. Straw flowers, and I'm not sure if you can hear that, but straw flowers are pretty cool. I like the sound of them, and they're really pretty. They have pretty vibrant colors on them. So, and then they make a fun kind of, rattly sound when you touch them. I have two different kinds of straw flowers right here, and then two different kinds back there, and statice. So statice is another great drying flower. Both straw flowers and statice dry very well. Okay, so my next plant is another strawberry vanilla hydrangea. This is the same as on the either side of my the arbor, and these blooms are massive. Like, look at them. They're the size of my head. These blooms start out with a white color. As they age, there's a little bit of pink in here, so I'll get a picture and put it on the screen, but they will age to a beautiful pink color. So I'm very excited for that and looking forward to that. I back planted with a couple sunflowers just because I thought it was fun. It's really fun to watch these sunflowers. They actually face this way in the morning for the morning sun, and then right now they're faced towards the evening sun. So that's kind of fun to watch them move throughout the day. Off to my right, I have balloon flowers. These I started from seed last year. I was given the seed, so those are doing pretty good. I have a lavender, a dead tree that we need to dig out. This tree succumbed to our late frost that we had, so that unfortunately is a casualty, and we need to go down to a local garden center and pick up a new one, so hopefully we get to that soon. All of these are foxgloves, so I told you guys I would put a picture up on the screen in a earlier video. I am letting these guys go to seed, and so that's kind of what's happened here is I've let them go to seed, and I'll just kind of spread that around so I get blooms next year. And then I front planted with more salvia. And then moving on, we have my black lace elderberry. So this is one of my most prized plants. The corgi actually ate this plant down to its roots 2 winters ago, and it has come back and is taller than me now. So this is another casualty of the frost. It was much bigger before the frost, and I had to cut it way back. So I only got 1 or 2 blooms this year, but because lace-leaf elderberries bloom on old wood. But I'm very excited. This should fill in this whole area and give us a nice little shaded spot and privacy, natural privacy fence. So yeah, I'm very excited about this plant. I thought Saf had killed it, but she didn't. So over here I have the rest of my dahlias that I planted with you guys. So these aren't blooming yet, they're just about to. And I have my orange ones back here. I have my Stand By Me clematis from Proven Winners. That came back this year, so I'm pretty excited about that. I don't remember the name of this vine, but it should have red trumpet-like flowers. I have the name of it inside, so I'll put it up on the screen when I go through here and find it. And then I have this trellis back planted with squash, so just the mixed variety of squash. that I showed you guys in my seed haul video. So that's planted just back there. I like to do that because, again, if I don't plant something back there, then I have to weed back there. If I plant my vine crops back there, then they can kind of ramble along the fence and I don't have to weed as much. This is a volunteer salvia. So I had 2 big salvia plants here last year. They're annual. I let them go to seed, and this is one that came up from the seed that I kind of just strewed around. I have my sea holly right here. This is another plant that I think was going to come back, but I'm very excited. These are kind of like pokey-esque, and they have beautiful, like succulent-esque blooms on them. So when these guys start to bloom, I'll show you guys in another video, but I'm very excited that this plant came back. Very pretty. I have a forsythia here. Forsythias bloom yellow, and they are one of the first things to bloom in the springtime. So the blooms are already done, and again, this plant should get pretty big right here and fill in this area. Off to my right, I have my delphiniums. I don't know if I'll climb back here. This one stalk of delphinium is taller than me. I started these guys from seed as well. Cut these bloom stalks off, but I again let them delphinium seeds all around because who doesn't love those blooms? And they lasted all spring. They were gorgeous. So I want more of those in my life, and I'll have them because I have all these seeds. I probably will collect these seeds as well and give them away to family and friends. So that's another thing that you can do if you let your plants go to seed. In the front, I front planted the delphiniums with zinnia seeds. These are the polar bear mix, so they'll be white and pretty good size. They're just starting to bloom though, so don't have true blooms to show you. I front planted again with salvia in the front of the honey locust, and then back planted with the foxglove that I started from seed last year. This is a bloomerang from Proven Winners. It's a lilac that blooms twice, and so it's just starting to flush with its, I think these are actually its 3rd set of blooms. I believe it's already bloomed twice this year. So I have this back planted with a sand cherry, which should give this area a little more privacy once it grows up. And then I have pink bee balm. I actually thought this plant wasn't going to come back. I had sheared it back last fall, and the other one didn't come up, but I think a couple bee balm seeds had transplanted themselves right there. So if I cut this back, I would get a second bloom out of it. I'm letting this go back to seed, so hopefully it'll take in this whole area here with just bee balm because the bees absolutely love it. This is Jack of Diamonds Brunnera. I have 3 red peonies, and then this is supposed to be a blue clematis, but it's more of a purple. I got this hops plant last year in the fall time, so this is 1 year's worth of growth on this hops plant, so it definitely needs to be moved, and I'll probably move it when I move the spirea. I'll move it to the other side of our wedding trellis. So moving on to our half moon garden. I planted this up with you guys this year, and I created it this year with you guys in 2 separate videos. We bottom planted everything with a whole bunch of annuals. I do have my Russian almond and my mugo pines and my yuccas along with our plum trees. But I planted a whole bunch of annuals just to have that pop of color, and so I didn't have to weed as much. So we have zinnias, we have statice, we have salvia. I believe this is blue suede shoes salvia from Proven Winners up front here, and then the rest is all annuals from seeds. So we have cosmos, elephant ears, just a variety of plants in here just to grow up and be nice and tall so I don't have to weed as much. The elephant ears are doing pretty good. They are annual in our climate, so I'll have to actually dig up the roots of the elephant ears and store them if I want to have them for next year. But I wanted to show you guys this leaf. Oh my goodness. Look at this leaf. This is massive. This is huge. Like, this is bigger than the corgi. It's so big. So this has been a nice treat and an interesting plant to have in the garden for sure. These are queen lime zinnias that I have underplanted with the plums. And then again, just status, cosmos. This is my gold medal rose. I am seeing some bug damage on it. I think it's earwig. So I need, oh, that's a spent rose. Look at that. But I need to get some bug bait around here so the earwigs quit eating the leaves of my gold medal rose. Moving this way, this is about the only plant that was on this property when we moved in that's still with us. There wasn't much landscaping for this house. So I wanted to leave this lilac. It is a beautiful lilac in the springtime. And just as a reminder, lilacs bloom on old wood. This is the mock orange that I planted up earlier this year. It's doing pretty good. We went away on vacation for a little bit, and this isn't hooked up to drip and doesn't get hit by our sprinkler right now. And so it kind of took a little bit of hit during that time, but it bounced back pretty well. This shrub grows more upright than out, so it should be a nice pillar of foliage right here. You can see some of my annuals right here. These 4 long boxes were supposed to be for our front windows, but I didn't get around to building those, so they've just kind of sat here and I've watered them along with the coleus and other petunias. I have yet to plant these guys. This is the rest of my bare root stock. It's going to go in the half moon garden. And like I said, I haven't gotten around to it, but it needs to get in the ground before winter time so it can establish its roots a little bit better. If we move over to my unfortunate flower bed, there's the poultry. And this was my very first flower bed that I created. We tried to do in-ground flower beds, but we quickly determined that we needed to raise them up because of our soil. I have lilies in here and then white daisies along with a honeysuckle bush. And then we're going to get to kind of the sad part. But these are yellow irises. I need to dig up. I've separated them almost every year and they just come back with a vengeance, and they're overrun with grass and everything. So I definitely need to dig those up this year, separate, give irises away, and replant this area. I have purple cone flowers that I got from seed, and I just kind of scattered the seed in here, and this is what came of it. I don't remember the name of this bush, and I don't think I have the tag anymore, but this gets really pretty blue blooms and then has kind of silvery leaves. I think I can propagate it. I'm going to try next year with the old wood, but it's really pretty and it grows fast. I actually cut this all the way down to the ground this year, and this is all of the growth that it's put on. I have a perennial salvia, and then this is again kind of a mishmash of irises, lilies. I do have a sedum right here that I got in the 75% off. It was actually cut in half and broken and dried up, and it's grown pretty nicely this year. So this is the first tree that we planted on this property, and this is an apple tree. It was given to us bare root from a friend of mine. So this tree is, I believe, 4 years old. Is that right? I think it's either 3 or 4 years old. I'd have to look back at pictures to see. When we planted it, it was like a twig. and it was, I think, like this tall. So in just a couple of years, this is what's grown. We got a great apple harvest from it last year. Unfortunately, our late spring frost nipped its buds, and so I don't even think we're going to get one apple off of it this year. But it's still beautiful, and this shows that, just plant and it'll grow. Don't wait to plant something. Plant it, and in a couple years, you'll have a full-blown tree. So let's head out to end this video. Let's head out to the front flower bed and show you that. Okay, so this is the second flower bed that I ever created on our property. This one is kind of half a hot mess right now. I did have some ornamental grass in this area. There's actually 3 of them. I cut them back last year, and when they grew back this year, they're kind of wild, and I don't really like them, so I'm gonna dig them up and either give them away or compost them. There's nothing wrong with them, I just don't like how they look. This is a yellow twig dogwood. I got it for free. It was just a little twig. I planted it, and we'll have a bush in a couple of years, so that's 1 year's worth of growth on that guy. This is about the only area that I can have hostas, so I kind of have my whole hosta garden in here. I have some variegated ones, white and green variegated, and then like a chartreuse green and a dark green hosta in here. I think they're really pretty, and I wish I could have more hostas in my garden. We just are too much of a full sun atmosphere in our back garden. So the tag on my hydrangeas up here say that they're quick fires. I don't know if they are, because I don't remember quick fires looking like this, and so either something happened with their blooms or these aren't quick fires. So I don't know. They're beautiful. We'll keep them. They should get decent sized once full grown. But again, I got these last year, 75% off. They were bent, basically dead, and this is what's come of them in a year and a half, 2 years. So I do have some hellebores in here as well, along with some heucheras, and then a marigold and a cosmos, where I don't know where they came from. So just letting those guys grow for some pretty color. But those are my gardens, my back row, my south flower bed, and my west flower bed. I will give you a little bit of B-roll of the rest of our property and how things are doing, but I hope you enjoyed our garden walk tonight, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.